Hey freshmen, how you doing out there? I hope you are having a great week and are ready to start our very first writing assignment. Not gonna lie, I think this is gonna be challenging to do from um, home, but I'm sitting here in my kitchen in my PJs, and I'm gonna teach you how to do this paragraph. I know that your middle school teachers have gone over writing, that this is not the first paragraph writing you've been doing. And so I think that it's going to be review, and we're going to get through this together, and it's going to be great. So the best thing you can do is just sort of follow along with me. If you have questions, you can post them on the Google Classroom comment under the assignment, and I will get back to you. If you have a more private question, you can email me, of course, as always. We have 15 minutes to do this, so my lesson today is going to cover what the topics are, which you can see here on the screen. And then I'm going to talk about how do you get to that theme statement and message, and if you are doing the connection to a real world idea, I'm going to show you how to get there. And then I'm also going to talk about how to write the statements, which are due next week for me to check in and take a look at. Because if you don't have a strong theme statement, you're not going to write a very strong paragraph. So my job is to get you there. All right, let's do this. Icarus paragraph. So you're going to be talking about what's called a universal theme. And a universal theme is just like a universal remote control. If you think about your remote control, most of your remotes that turn your TV on and off, they also might control your Blu-ray, or let's say they might control your, I don't know how many of you guys have stereos anymore, but they might control other things in your house. So they control lots of different things. So a universal theme applies to lots of different places or times or people. It's a universal idea. And that's what that means. So you're going to take an idea from Icarus that we can apply either across all three of the stories, or that you can apply to something outside of the story. So let's look at the two choices. I wanted to give choices. I didn't want to make you all write the same thing, because kind of honestly, guys, I'm going to read about 100 of these, 110 paragraphs. And if y'all write about the same thing, it makes me want to poke my eyes out. So I'm excited that some of you will write about things other than Icarus. So question one is what I had you investigating for homework last time, which was, what are some other Icarus-like characters and how can we apply that to the real world? This was in preparation for this question. So the question reads, for this paragraph, you will write a theme statement that applies to one Icarus text and another work from the world in which we live. The Icarus text can be any one of the three Icarus stories we read. You pick one. So remember, we read three of them. We read the source text, the original, and then we read one by Anne Sexton, which was similar, but remember it had Icarus flying without Dad, and Dad went into town. And then we read Edward Fields, which was a modern day take on Icarus, where he was living in a suburb and working in his garage. And you guys were like, what the heck is that about? So we had three different Icarus tales. You can pick one of them. Then your other work can be anything from a song, a poem, a movie, any other thing where you think you can find an idea that is similar to something we found in one of our Icarus tales. You will need to use one piece of evidence from Icarus stories and two pieces of evidence from the song, poem, book, article, essay, whatever you find. So it's going to be a 1 and a 2. If you don't like this question, I wanted to give you one that you could easily write about that included what you already knew. So option number 2. For this paragraph, if you choose to do it, you'll write a theme statement that applies to all three of the Icarus texts. So you have to use all three. You will not need to use anything other than the Icarus stories. you must have one piece of evidence for each of the texts. So one from the source text, one from Sexton, and one from Fields that support your theme statement. All right, so you pick one. Pick number one or pick number two. All right, once you've picked what you want to do, I want you to go down to this box right here. And I've assigned each of you a copy of this so you can type in the boxes. I started by giving some examples. These 3 topics can be found in all 3 texts. I also left blank spaces, and I know you guys can add your own here because we did a whole chart with lots of ideas on it. And you guys have been working with that already this past week. But I wanted to give an example of how to take a topic from the text and write a statement. So here's one on risk-taking. Notice my statement has nothing said about Icarus, has nothing said about, let's say, an outside topic or like a book or a poem, but it's simply a statement about life and people. So if I use the idea of risk-taking, which can be found in Icarus, although risk takers are often seen as unstable, those who take chances learn more than others. So that's like my life lesson I want to throw out there. If I said, there's the lesson I want to learn, that I think that our Icarus Tales really wants us to think about, and I think I could apply that. I could apply that outside in the world. Let's say I was doing number 1, and I had to go and I had to find something to apply it to from the world in which we live. Can you think of a movie that this statement applies to? Could you think of a book, maybe a character in a book that this statement applies to? Maybe even a poem or a song. What about a music you like that talks about risks and taking chances? All right, with that being said, let's say you do this chart and you come up with lots of ideas and you pick a statement. What connections, if you're going to do the idea about connecting it to life, then you need to do this box here. If you're not going to do the connection to life, you can skip this box. So this is only if you're doing question 1. Okay? If you're doing question 1, you got to do this to find the connection to life. Otherwise, you can skip to the homework, writing a thesis statement. So this would have been, basically this would have been like the theme statement here is really my thesis statement, what one sentence that your entire paragraph is about. In this case, your thesis will be your theme, and is the topic you decide on above with the message. So if you're writing some ideas down here, you could just you don't have to maybe write the whole theme statement out here. I could have maybe just wrote consequences, all actions have a consequence, or, but then I want to craft my thesis statement here a little more clearly. Actually, as I look at this now, I'm thinking I probably would have said this is a more, finished thesis statement I would have put here. I guess I kind of went too far up here. I got excited. But that's what I want you to do today. Some things, and notice it says there's a connection to theme notes here. If you click on this, it'll take you to a link about theme. And it says day 1, stop here. Okay, that's all I want you to do. I suppose you could go ahead if you wanted to. I wouldn't be sad about it, but all you have to do is stop there. Write in those theme statements. Notice I didn't use I didn't use me or my, I didn't use they or we. You've got to write it in a way, and I'm going to click on this a second here. Oof, I'm not sure how this is going to go when I open this up. Let's see what happens. Oh, hey, that didn't go too badly. Remember, first time I've used this recorder thing, and it's all new. Hope this is going well. So it opens up this document, and it gives you a how-to. And I really think you should look at this here, especially this part. You're not going to use I or you. And that's really hard. Make it original. You don't want to be cliche or an overused expression. Uh, like, everything has a consequence. Well, no, duh. Or everybody has to take a risk in life. No, duh. You want to write something that is not going to be found on a t-shirt, in a fortune cookie, in a Hallmark greeting card. I mean, we've gone over themes from last semester. I mean, you guys remember that, right? You loved writing those. Probably not. But it's the same thing here. So I guess I was kind of forgetting for a second we had done theme. You guys should be kind of pro at this. I hope, maybe. But keep this in mind. Go back to this document if you need to. So really, your thesis, your theme statement, it's got to be able to cover all three texts. And if you're doing the one question number 2, if you're doing question 1, your theme statement should apply to Icarus, and it should apply to the song, book, or poem as well. And that's the key. I'm trying to talk about this in 2 different ways because I don't know which one you're going to do. If you have questions, let me know. Remember, this is all in draft format until we get, to turning it in. Play around with different things. Fill these boxes in here. Try some new ideas. And the big thing is, guys, remember, we did a class chart with lots of ideas on it. That if you've been following along with the lessons, you've actually been accessing that chart. Go take a peek at it again, maybe with a different frame of mind or a different eye. And let's see what you're doing. I am going to take a look at your thesis statement. So you're going to turn this document in. I am then going to turn it back to you to continue working on. Because as you can see, if you scroll down, I've given you lots and lots and lots of help in writing this. It will be our 5 writing standards. That's what I'm going to be grading that on eventually. But we've got lots of time to talk about that. All right. So I don't think I did too badly from my first screencast. Hopefully it wasn't too terrible. I'm going to go ahead and hit the stop button, and it should post to YouTube. And if you have questions, let me know. I sure miss you guys. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk with you soon.